Are you ready for a taste adventure like no other? Monte D. Rey Mexican Restaurant in Kernersville is here to take you on a flavor-filled journey straight to Mexico. Savor the sizzle of our mouth-watering fajitas, indulge in our signature enchiladas, and experience the true essence of Mexican cuisine. Wash it all down with our handcrafted margaritas or refreshing tequila-infused cocktails. Bring your friends, bring your family. Let the vibrant ambiance of Monte D. Rey turn every meal into a fiesta. Monte D. Rey Kernersville. Taste the authentic flavors of Mexico. Call 336-310-4560 or visit and order online at MonteDRayKernersville.com.
Looking for your real estate expert in Kernersville? Meet Nikki Rottweiler, your go-to expert with the unrivaled knowledge of the market. From hidden gems to prime profiles, she's got the inside scoop. Don't miss out on the opportunity of a lifetime. Contact Nikki Rottweiler today and experience the difference firsthand. Call Nikki at 336-448-9309 to get started. Head Realty Group, opening dreams one door at a time.
Greensboro's favorite hangout is calling your name. Natty Green's Downtown invites you to experience the heart and soul of downtown Greensboro's vibrant dining scene. Enjoy our mouth-watering dishes from juicy burgers to savory barbecue and everything in between. And what's a great meal without great brews? Natty Green's offers a hand-picked selection of craft beers that will perfectly complement your dining experience. So come on over to Natty Green's downtown Greensboro. Find us at 345 South Elm Street or visit nattygreens.com online. Give us a call at 336-274-1373.
Hey y'all, Tiny's Mobile Auto. Is your car broke down? Are you stuck somewhere? Do you need a mechanic? You don't want to call a tow truck? Call Tiny's Mobile Auto. He'll come out to you, do your work, whatever you need done, your regular maintenance, or if you broke down on the side of the road, give him a call. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call 336-423-6241. You don't even have to see me. Just let me know what's wrong with your car and I will come and fix it, y'all. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, TikTok, I'm on the Twitters, whatever you guys need, 336-423-6241. As always, I'll be seeing you.
This is PJ Washington, and you're listening to Tobacco Road Sports Radio on WWBG 1470 AM, your home of the Hornets basketball and the Triad.
This should be played at high volume.
Welcome to Out of Pocket. Here's your host, Michael Davis.
Welcome to Out of Pocket with Michael Davis on Tobacco Road Sports Radio, TobaccoRoadSportsRadio.com, and WWBG 1470 AM as part of your TGI Friday lineup. We got some breaking news at the top of the show, so stay tuned real quick. We're being joined in by Mr. Carson Williams. Carson, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good today. You know, it's a beautiful day outside. Finally, it's not too hot, but it's not raining, you know. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about this breaking news and about some football. Aaron Schneider is on the panel. One of my, me and him were in a couple classes last semester, so I'm glad to see him. So yeah, I got to be doing well, you know?
Yeah. And the quick story behind this, I had went and spoke to one of the classes up at Appalachian State. One of my professors, he's like, and it was very spontaneous. I was like, sure. I mean, I don't know what to talk about, but I'll just tell them a little bit about myself and my story. And these were the two guys who approached me about, you know, really enjoying what we were doing with Tobacco Road. And I was like, let me get you guys on the show. And this is what Tobacco Road Sports Radio is about. I had Mike as part of the Mike and Mike Talking Wrestling on Wednesday. And he's like, wow, you guys are like doing genuine content out here. You're not, you know, putting on a show or whatever. And so, you know, me, Carson, Aaron are the future of broadcasting. We've had, you know, future on Tobacco Road with Brett Wiseman as well as several others. But Aaron, welcome back to the show, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm really glad to be back. I've been bummed out having to miss, you know, so many of the recordings, but you know, got to make money somehow. But I'm just happy to be back now.
Dude, I'm happy to have you back. And of course, if you were listening to those nice little grooves coming into the show, those were produced by our producer, Desmond Johnson. Des, how are you doing this afternoon?
Good, man. I think this is show number 3, 4. today? I don't know. It's tough.
You're starting to lose count.
Yeah, welcome to week 1. So good stuff. Glad to be here, guys.
This is week 1, and we also have week 1 technically of the NFL preseason. We'll talk a little bit about those Hall of Fame games. Now, I always, prepare a document of like, hey, here's the topics we want to talk about and everything. And those are always subject to change. And the last 10, 15 minutes, we've had a little movement around because of some breaking news. We weren't even planning to talk about the NBA today just because it's a little down period. And then all of a sudden, the Los Angeles Lakers decide to re-sign Anthony Davis at 3 years, $186 million. And if you're watching on our Tobacco Road Sports Radio's YouTube channel, you just saw the bottom screen pop up. Anthony Davis gets a bag. I think it's several bags that you have to fit $186 million in. It's a huge bag. You can also engage with us on our YouTube channel. Your comment can flash up on the screen, be acknowledged on Out of Pocket with Michael Davis. But Des, you're the Lakers fan. Do you like this extension for Anthony Davis?
I do. You got to kind of, if you're a Laker fan, you kind of got to remember why you wanted Anthony Davis to begin with. You wanted something for after LeBron. And if next year's probably going to be LeBron's last season, I would imagine. I can't imagine going much further than another year or two. AD still got, how old is AD? He's not even 30 yet, is he?
Oh,
Anthony
he's got to
Davis
be
is
30, right?
He just turned 30 this year.
Wow.
He just turned.
He's older than that.
Because he came out after freshman year of college and he was 18.
And he dominated.
Yeah. That was 2012.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like 30, 31. So technically, NBA terms, he should be entering his peak in the next 3 years. And he's definitely worth it. AD is a top 10 NBA player. If you're going to give Jaylen Brown $300 million, I think it's okay to give AD 185 for half the contract. That sounds right to me.
Well, Boston was probably not doing a good move there, giving Jaylen Brown all that money, and you still have to re-sign Jason Tatum.
They had to. What were they going to do? That's their guy. They drafted him. He had all the parameters to qualify for it. So, you can't let him do that and then go, well, you know what? We're still just don't know if we're going to give that to you. Boston had to do it. If it blows up in their face, it just blows up in their face. But
they could have traded him.
But then, to who? Who would have wanted to take on that contract other than Boston? There's only a couple of teams that can even pay it. So they were kind of stuck. That's their dude. They're going to grow with Jaylen Brown and Tatum for the next 6 years. And that's how it's been for the past 5. That's their 2 guys. They just need to find a third to match with them. Now, when they extend Tatum next year, you're going to have 2 dudes under contract for over $600 million in the NBA.
Right.
Pretty wild for a 5-year stretch. So Boston better win something.
These contracts are getting huge. Aaron, I think it's a lot of money. This is 60+ million right now.
Hold up. Stop.
I knew this was coming.
So Mike Fanning, Road Sports Radio member.
Sorry, Aaron.
So $186 million deal to only play half the games this year. Worth it. The dude's always hurt. We were talking about this off camera before we started. Yes, he gets banged up a lot, but AD doesn't really miss a lot of games. He'll fall down to the ground. He'll do the Peter Griffin, my knee, it hurts, and that kind of thing. And then he'll go to the locker room. He's right back out there. So this narrative that he misses so many games, he's not Zion Williamson.
Well, the Zion slander is getting to me.
He's not Zion. He's actually playing games. So, yeah.
He played 56 a game last year.
How many?
56.
But he had something. What was it? He had a tear or something, didn't he?
See, getting hurt, missing games. The year before,
I don't know what it was.
40. The year before that, 36. The year before that was his first year with the Lakers at 62. Dude hasn't played 70 games since his Pelican days.
2 years ago, though, was the bubble, wasn't it?
Yes. So those numbers are lower than they look.
They didn't even play a full 82 games that year. And he got hurt earlier in the year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if the question is, are you going to pay Anthony Davis $60 million a year in his prime? Yeah. Go ahead, Aaron. I'm sorry. I saw my.
You're good. Totally understandable. I'm not the biggest NBA guy, but I know who Anthony Davis is. I watched him when he was coming up at Kentucky. just an insane player. And like, you do have to pay your guy. And like Desmond said, LeBron's going to be gone soon. And I mean, they don't really have a guy after him. So you got to lock down Davis and hopefully give yourself somewhat of a future after LeBron's gone.
That's a lot of money, Carson.
He carried them.
So
when LeBron was out at the end of the regular season, it was AD.
They were the best defense after the All-Star break, and that was AD carrying that defense. And he does miss games. He misses some games, not as many as people think, but he misses some games. But my big thing is he's available. Like, he was available in the playoffs this year. He was his best self, other than like a few like stinkers. But and then the bubble, he was available and he was arguably their best player. This is, like Desmond said, this is a signing for the future. This is for after LeBron, because right now this is kind of the Lakers' last chance for a few years at least to do like actually contend, actually make a long playoff run. You know, once LeBron retires, it's going to take him a few years to get back on their feet.
It's interesting.
I don't know. It's the Lakers. I don't know. They don't do the whole draft thing. Like they bring a star in that's already established. So like, and look at the length of the deal too. It's 3 years instead of the 5 that he could have got. So it almost makes it where if things ain't right, Davis can leave at age 32, 33.
Yeah.
Still be kind of right there at his peak. So it's kind of a win-win for both sides. But
oh, absolutely.
I don't know if the Lakers will have to wait a long time. Really, at that point, they would just need a guard to match with Davis.
And he is the best defensive player in the league. I mean, I know that some people have Giannis, some people have Bam, which is crazy. Bam's not there. But
Gobert fell off a little bit.
Gobert fell off. Anthony Davis hasn't averaged less than 2 blocks except for 2 years that he's been in the league, and he's never averaged less than a steal.
He's better than Jaren Jackson Jr.?
I don't think he was last year,
yeah.
But I think overall he is, and I think he probably will be this year.
Marcus Smart deserves to be in that conversation too.
He won 2022, yeah.
The thing about guards defending, I love perimeter defense. I think that it's very necessary, but like interior defense is always going to be more valuable than non-interior defense, than perimeter defense. You know, if you look throughout history, every player that really anchored a team's defense and was like could completely transform a team defense are great interior defenders. You know, you got Bill Russell, Hakeem, Wilt for a few years. You know, so that's what you want is you want a great interior defender over a great perimeter defender.
Rim protector.
Right.
And he's right. I mean, you need somebody down there. Even Golden State, when they were at their peak, they had
Has Anthony Davis never won Defensive Player of the Year?
Nope. No, he never has.
Never has. Jaren Jackson's the reigning Defensive Player of the Year. Marcus Smart, Rudy Gobert, Giannis won it in 2020. Gobert's won it 3 times in 4 years.
Yeah, I don't know. You need to win that award if you're going to call yourself the best defensive player.
Well, I mean, not ever.
He did.
Like right now, he's not the best defensive player right now.
Right now,
no, that's not how that works. I don't think really. I mean, there have been plenty of times when like when Russell Westbrook won MVP. Do you think he was the best player in the world? No,
that's a good point. Actually.
He wasn't.
That's pretty good.
You know.
So
Draymond Green, I think, is the most versatile defender of all time, and he has won. Let's see, what one?
He's won
once,
but he won an award.
Yeah, one time in 2017.
Okay, but with Russell Westbrook with the MVP, LeBron had won like 2 MVPs at that point. They're not going to give LeBron a third right there. They're going to give it to somebody else. Okay, for Anthony Davis not to win a single Defensive Player award.
That is kind of wild that he hasn't. You know, and honestly, it's probably because he hasn't played full seasons.
That's exactly the reason.
If he had played more than 70 games in a season, he probably would have won one in the past 4 years. But yeah.
Best ability is availability.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. Well.
Wow.
Okay. Then.
Yeah.
Good job, AD.
Good job, AD. 3-year, $186 million. And then we got more breaking news for a show called Out Pocket. Dang, we talk a lot of Lakers basketball. It was breaking news.
It's the Lake Show.
Breaking.
Yeah, come on. What are we supposed to do?
We're not rebranding this the Lake Show, that's for sure.
No.
But with the breaking news of happening with Anthony Davis, we also had breaking news in the NFL where Alvin Kamara has now been suspended officially 3 games, just 3 games for the New Orleans Saints. And that would mean that Alvin Kamara will miss games against the Titans, the Panthers, week 2, and then the Packers. And those will be the 3 games that Alvin Kamara misses. Aaron, I'm going to start with you. Do you think this was not enough, too much for Alvin Kamara to get suspended?
It's definitely justified. I think 3 games is probably a solid in between. Too much more than you're like, and then anything less than you're like, come on, like, what are you doing? Like, he needs to actually be appropriately punished for what happened. And yeah, I'm trying to remain level-headed, unbiased about this because I really don't like the Saints, and I'm happy he's not going to be playing against the Panthers because I don't like them having to deal with him.
The dominoes are just lining up. Everybody get on the train now. Get it in here now while it's August, because by the time we get to October, it's going to be too late, and we're going to be like 8-1 or something. Get in here now. Get in here.
8-1 in October, your math's a little off.
Late October. By late October, we'll be like 7-2 or something like that. Like, oh my God, I can't believe the Panthers are so good. We told you back in the summer. And now with no Kamara, tough break, Saints.
Just for 3 games. It's not like he plays a full season.
That's fine. Yeah, right. I mean, he hasn't played a full season in a couple years anyway. So, yeah, tough break, Alvin.
It's pretty fitting. We just got done talking about Anthony Davis and now Alvin Kamara. But suspend 3 games. Carson, do you think that's a little low for the stuff that was going on?
It's really hard to judge in the NFL because some people just get absolutely like they get suspended for way too long for very little. And then you have people like Deshaun Watson who got suspended 6 games for 24 civil cases, so it's really hard to judge. I think this is good. Alvin Kamara was facing felony charges when it happened, and he got a plea deal, so now he's not. But yeah, I think 3 games is a pretty good suspension. I don't think it's too little. I don't think it's necessarily too much. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. But I would like to see the NFL be more consistent when it comes to suspensions.
They've never been consistent before.
No.
With suspensions.
That's
it's like
never another conversation.
It's like, hey, there's the name. Here's the team they play for. Oh, let's give them 6 games. Let's give them 10 games. And it's really like the media too.
It is. Yeah.
Gary Buffalo's comment popped up on the YouTube channel. Panthers 11-6 and NFC South champs. Des, I think, and this, you started saying the dominoes starting to fall. I think that's very realistic. I think they're the team to beat, not the Saints.
It's funny how the national media has come around on the Carolina Panthers over the past week because they haven't heard anything bad about Bryce Young out of training camp. In fact, everything's been positive and glowing. I just saw Bucky Brooks pick the Panthers to win the South last night on NFL Network. I'm seeing just random national media pundits starting to realize, oh, they were picking number 1, but it wasn't because they sucked. It's because they traded up for 1. They were picking at 9. They almost won the division in spite of themselves last year, and that core is still there. And what's the number 1 thing that caused the Panthers to lose football games the past 4 years that you say off the top of your head?
Quarterback
play. And now they've got that stabilized. What a dude is just people joke when they say that such and such is him and this and that or whatever. Bryce Young is him. Like, he really is. It's him.
Slow down.
Nah,
he was him in college. I don't know if he's going to be him in the NFL.
He was him in high school. Like,
he was him in high school. But
normally those dudes, when they step out on a field and they're the exact same as they were the level before where they were, they're that dude. They're going to be that way no matter. He was the same way at Alabama. He was at Mater Dei. From all accounts, he's the same way he was at Alabama down in Spartanburg right now. There is no reason to believe he's going to fall off a cliff. So jump on this bandwagon, Carson. I know you want to.
I do think that the Panthers are going to have a pretty good year. They've got a pretty easy schedule. I do think it's too early to say that Bryce Young is him. You know, he's going to the NFL from college, you know, so he's got to prove that on an NFL stage now. He can't just come in being great from college, and he was great in college, but you can't just come into the NFL and claim I'm him when you haven't played an NFL game.
Oh no, I'm claiming he's him. He's not claiming he's him. That's the thing I like about him. Yeah, he's got this kind of quiet confidence about him that it just radiates across the whole team. You just see a difference between what they were doing last year and where they are right now, where
it's a completely different team.
They're going to win games.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to surprise some folks in the beginning, but they're just too loaded in the coaching staff and across the board on their you know what? This one is supposed to be about the Panthers. So.
Well, we are in Panthers country right now. Kamara suspended 3 games. Mike Fan saying Young is that dude. Brett mentioning Caroline being most stable at each position. I don't know. The 2 positions I'm questioning is the secondary because of health and also the offensive line. Those are the 2 question marks for the Panthers.
They're pretty deep at offensive line. I'm with you on the secondary. They're pretty thin depth-wise. Their starters, J.C. Horn, Dante Jackson, Jeremy Chin, Xavier Woods, Von Bell. That's top-notch right there. But once you get past that, you get to like C.J. Henderson and some others. So we'll see how that goes. But really the only thing I'm worried about is another DE opposite Brian Burns. That's really the one thing left that they got to figure out who's going to emerge from that. They're probably waiting for somebody to come up on the roster already, as opposed to going to get somebody. There's really nobody out there anymore. So they'll be okay. Actually,
what I will say about Bryce Young is like he has a chance to come in and immediately be that guy, you know? Like I don't think that we can say it yet, but he's in such a great situation. I mean, he does like the expectations aren't too high, but they're also not super low. And just the person that Bryce Young is, like you said, he has this like quiet confidence about him. And he's very smart. So I don't think he's going to make a lot of mistakes. And that's like kind of what you want out of a first year quarterback. So yeah, I think he's going to be great.
It could happen. Caroline could actually win the division now. Glad to share that breaking news with you guys at the top of the show. We're going to take a quick commercial break on WWBG 1470 AM and Tobacco Road Sports Radio. When we come back, we're going to talk about this NFL Hall of Fame game last night. Were there any snubs in the NFL Hall of Fame this year? We're going to talk about that next on Al Paco and Michael Davis right after the break.
Savvy shoppers of Kernersville, discover the hidden treasures waiting for you at Smith & Company Consignment. Get ready to score some incredible deals on gently used furniture, stylish clothing, and unique home decor pieces. You won't believe the quality at unbeatable prices. Looking to declutter? Sell your pre-loved items with us. Smith & Company Consignment is the perfect place to find a new home for your well-cared-for belongings. Visit us at 1515 Union Cross Road. Check out our website, smithandcompanyconsignment.com, or give us a call at 336-497-5290.
Pardon me, B-Dot here, and as the voice of the Greensboro Swarm, PA for the Hornets, and the 6th man of Carolina basketball, I do it all, just like Beamer Tire and Auto. Alignments, new tires, NC State inspections, oil changes, they do it all. And with 3 locations in High Point, Greensboro, and Kernersville, B-Dot and B-Tar, yes, we do it all. If you need details, visit beamertire.com.
When I think of Mountain Valley Hospice,
I think of teamwork,
caring, honesty.
The one word that I would say to describe Mountain Valley is we're family.
It's summertime, and that means it's time for the Catalinas. The Catalinas are celebrating their 66th anniversary this year, performing across the Carolinas. proud members of the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame and the Beach Music Hall of Fame. Go to thecatalinas.net for show schedule and to request bookings. For corporate advertising opportunities, call 336-777-6362. It's the Catalinas. Walkertown Auto Sales. Look no further when shopping for your next vehicle. Located in the heart of the Triad at 3076 Walkertown View Drive in Walkertown, Walkertown Auto Sales specializes in affordable and reliable used cars, trucks, and SUVs. They offer financing with good credit, bad credit, or no credit, with interest rates as low as 3.9%. With knowledgeable employees that are always willing to go the extra mile, you'll drive away with the car of your dreams at Walkertown Auto Sales. Check out the entire online inventory now at walkertownautosales.com. It's the high school football game of the week.
Listen, man, tonight is the night to make a name for yourself.
Not one, but two of the best games in the Triad every Friday.
All comes down to today.
Catch the action on WTOB 980 AM and 96.7 FM.
Who got my back? I got your back.
Or tune in to our second game on WCOG 1320 AM. Both games powered by TobaccoRoadSportsRadio.com, your home for Triad sports.
This is LaMelo Ball, and you're listening to Tobacco Road Sports Radio on WWBG 1470 AM, your home for Hornets basketball in the Triad.
Welcome back to Out Pocket with Michael Davis on Tobacco Road Sports Radio, TobaccoRoadSportsRadio.com, and WWBG 1470 AM as part of your TGI Friday lineup. We had some breaking news at the top of the show. If you missed that, this video will be available on YouTube, so you can go back and watch it later. But right now, we are live. Engage with us in the comment section. We got Carson Williams. We got Aaron Schneider. We got our App State guys in the house, and we got producer Desmond Johnson as well. The NFL had their Hall of Fame game last night between the New York Jets and Cleveland Browns. Of course, they couldn't find two more interesting teams to play. I do believe the Jets are getting slept on, surprisingly, even after acquiring Aaron Rodgers and his services this year. But there's a lot of talk, like, some people love the Hall of Fame game. Other people don't. There may be some tweaks that need to be made, just like the Pro Bowl game needs tweaks to be made to get fans interested. The only good thing about the Hall of Fame game is you do get to acknowledge the Hall of Famers going in, and it's also the first football game that we get for the preseason. Aaron, I want to know first, did you spend time watching the Hall of Fame game last night? And if you didn't, what would make you as a fan want to watch that game?
No, I did not. I did see some highlights of it, though. Saw Dorian Thompson-Robinson. He had some good plays. I like him a lot. Unrelated, get back to topic, but I feel like they would be better off doing some like 7-on-7 flag football or something with some bigger name guys who aren't going to play. Just get them out there, have some fun, because realistically, like, not a lot of people are going to watch NFL preseason. And the Browns and the Jets, like, if you're wanting to keep like a game format, you got to get bigger name teams like Dallas or Kansas City, something like that, who have larger fan bases that'll actually bring in more of an audience.
Maybe the 7-on-7 flag football could be the Hall of Famers that went in. If they
That'd
can
be
play,
pretty cool.
If they can play,
I would watch that.
That's
They're not too old.
Yeah.
I would love to watch DeMarcus Ware out there.
Marcus Allen pull a hammy or something at age 65 trying to play flag football. That seems kind of wild.
That's not out of pocket, though. Hey, by the way, shout out DeMarcus Ware for his singing abilities with the national anthem. Dude chose the wrong profession. Dude can sing.
Well, he's in the Hall of Fame,
What?
so I don't know if he chose the wrong profession.
I
But
think my understanding was that he was horrific. I didn't watch the game at all, so so I haven't heard his rendition. I would go look for it, but actually, I'm not able to find it.
Yeah, go find it. Carson,
It was
what'd
DeMarcus
you
Ware?
What did you think about the Hall of Fame game last night?
Yeah, well, I didn't watch it either. I honestly just completely forgot about it. But I also just didn't really care about it that much. I mean, it's the Jets and the Browns. You got to pick like at least a rivalry, or like he said, like the Cowboys and the Chiefs. Pick two teams that people care about, or a rivalry that people care about. I mean, the Jets are awesome, but I watched enough of Zach Wilson last year. I don't want to see him throw another football.
For real.
Like I'm good on that.
So what if you instead, like in terms of picking teams, what if you had the teams in the Super Bowl that year?
Yeah,
play
even
in the Hall
that
of
would be
Fame
that
game?
would be cool. That would be better than what we got this year.
If they're playing, see the whole problem with this whole thing is, you can have Dallas. They've been in there before, or some of these other teams, but it's still. It was August the 3rd. Like they've only had like 5 practices. They're not going to throw their first string guys out there for very long. I mean, if at all. So I mean, if I'm not watching the guys that are going to play on Sunday, unless it's my team and I'm like evaluating second, third string like depth, that kind of stuff. Because that's why I watch the Panthers preseason games. I don't really care for the Hall of Fame game itself at all. The Hall of Fame ceremony is different, but the game is. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Could you make one of the regular season games the Hall of Fame game?
Why? Like what's the point of? I mean, no, because the Hall of Famers go in before the season starts, and it's all based around that Hall of Fame class, not the game. So, nah.
Because I had the same thought. I thought that maybe if they did something like in the regular season where like some actual big name guys could play, then it would be a little more entertaining. But it's about the Hall of Fame ceremony, so they do it on the Hall of Fame ceremony.
That's why Brett Wiseman, host of The Score, chimed in with rule is at least one team with an inductee that weekend has to play in the Hall of Fame game. That's why we see the matchups that we do. And if you go to the class itself that's getting in this year,
I know that they had the Cowboys.
DeMarcus Ware, yeah. Well, it was Darrell Revis and Joe Thomas from Cleveland got in. So there's your Jets and Browns right there. The only other ones could have been Tampa, another Jet, looks like. I don't know who Ken Riley played for. Dolphins. And Chuck Howley, I think, was a Cowboy too. So there was only a handful that could even played in it anyway. So it used to be a problem when you were playing 4 preseason games. Now you're only playing 3. So it makes it kind of okay for them to do this, but you're not going to see a whole lot of action in there when they're doing that. I did find the DeMarcus Ware national anthem. I have no idea what this sounds like. So
do we get a live raw reaction on Out of Pocket? Can it play audio?
Oh yeah,
we'll find out.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars
I've formed my opinion.
What's wrong?
A lot.
Aaron, don't. Aaron, you gotta back me up on this, bro.
I can't. I'm
why
sorry.
do you like this? Like, let's do the same tone.
He didn't just like it, but he said
listen.
DeMarcus Ware chose the wrong profession.
You guys don't like this?
The crazy thing is,
but this is still pretty rough.
He thinks it's really good. Look at his motions.
It's like a WWE guy. You gotta buy into it, so
I
everybody
can't
else
buy
does.
into this.
Oh, jeez.
You guys are hating right
Bring it
now.
home, DeMarcus.
Why'd you make us listen to this, Michael?
Des was producing. He put it on.
I want to hear.
You brought it up.
Talking about it. I've seen people talk about it on Twitter, clowning it all day, and I've never heard it.
It's not
Oh,
terrible.
he's got the Whitney Houston it there at the end. Look at him.
He's so into it.
It really is. Bless his heart. I mean,
See,
He didn't
It's
open
not
his eyes
bad.
for a straight 30 seconds there.
It's not bad.
It reminds me of the Bart Simpson meme with him holding the cake saying, "At least you tried," and then it slides up into the.
It wasn't as bad as I thought, but it
No.
was worse than what you made it seem.
Yes.
So much worse.
You guys are hating right now on DeMarcus Ware. DeMarcus went into the Hall of Fame this weekend, got to perform the national anthem, but there are some players who didn't make it in there. I wanted to hear if you guys are kind of shocked about a player who hasn't made the NFL Hall of Fame yet. Aaron, I want to start with you on this one.
I'm obviously disappointed that Steve Smith Sr. didn't make it in. That's surprising. Another couple guys, Devin Hester, I know he's mainly a return guy, but if we're talking about like best at your position, he is the best returner of all time and definitely deserves to be in. And then Torrey Holt and Charles Tillman are another two guys that I'm surprised haven't made it in yet.
Torrey was my guy. Dude, like, how does he not get in? He's in the all 2000s team, but he can't make the Hall of Fame.
It's his position. There's a logjam at wide receiver right now. There's other dudes. Marvin Harrison isn't in yet, is he?
I know Reggie Wayne's not.
I don't think he is. Reggie Wayne is in there.
not.
Yeah, because he's on the list. He was a semifinalist. Reggie Wayne this year. Hines Ward, he was a semifinalist this year. Steve Smith was a semifinalist this year. Andre Johnson was a semifinalist. Torrey Holt, Devin Hester, who played wide receiver a little bit. Henry Ellard, who played back in the 80s for the Rams, wide receiver. Anquan Bolden was a semifinalist at wide receiver. There's like a logjam at wide receiver where they're going to have to wait. Like, unless they were first ballot, and I can't think of a wide receiver right now in today's game that would be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Wait, in today's game?
Yeah. I can't think somebody that's going to go by Wayne, Ward, Steve Smith, Andre Johnson, Torrey. Like, they're going to skip the list and just get in first ballot. Because some of these dudes, like Torrey Holt's getting in before Steve Smith does.
Well, he needs to. Torrey's been on the ballot for how long now? He stopped playing in what, 09?
He's been a 9-time semifinalist. He's been a semifinalist every year since 2015.
Get that man in there.
Yeah, Smith has been a semifinalist twice. So yeah, he needs to get in line pretty much because there's a bunch of wide receivers that are in the way.
I think that there's some wide receivers in today's game that like have the potential to be first ballot Hall of Famers. I don't think there are any right now, but guys who have potential.
Who are you thinking of? Like
Justin,
or something?
I think Justin Jefferson could get there.
It's so hard. You only have like 1 year.
Justin Jefferson's kind of the only name that's coming to mind.
Well,
But Mike was about to say CeeDee Lamb.
No, I don't. I'm not biased with that. I would say Stephon Diggs could make a case.
First
DeAndre
ballot?
Hopkins.
Oh,
First ballot? That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to be first ballot to skip over the list of wide receivers. So, would you put in? Who did you say? You put in who?
Well, I started listing Diggs. D-Hop.
Would you put Diggs in before Steve Smith?
I wouldn't.
I don't think I would either.
No.
I mean, Smith won a triple crown. Like, nah. Or Torrey Holt. See, and that's what I'm saying. Like, they got to be first ballot just to skip over the line of wide receivers waiting to get in because offense exploded in the 90s and 2000s where it shifted to the passing game. So there's a bunch of wide receivers with stats that are like inflated compared to the wide receivers that got in from like 89 and older. You know what I mean? So because you got like Art Monk in there, or well, Art Monk's not a good example because he was a really, really good receiver. But
Do
you know,
you
you know what I'm saying? Like I think he
do you
held the
think
reception record for like for like 15 years or something. But
do you think like recency and media bias could play a role in that too, of
for
getting these players in?
I think the relationship with the media affects it. That's why Terrell Owens didn't get in first ballot, because he had a contentious relationship with the media during his playing career. Might be why Cam Newton doesn't get in first ballot for the same reasons.
Cam's not a Hall of Famer though.
What?
Not a Hall of Famer at all?
No. How many times have you played that what on me?
4 or 5 already.
Out of pocket with Michael Davis.
That is an
Cam had one good year.
What? What are you
Like
talking
Cam
about?
had one good
No, he was
MVP
good before
year.
that. Also, that year is like a top 10 quarterback peak ever.
I really wanted me to pull this out. I hate pulling this out.
So, like, he's there, I think, for sure.
Oh, he's there. The question isn't, is he going to get in the Hall of Fame? The question is he first ballot Hall of Famer?
Well, he's definitely not first ballot.
I can make an argument he is.
No way.
Off
No
of
way.
what he's done. I mean, I really can. Like the Bill Parcells said it best, and I always say this to folks: if you were the best in your sport for 1 year, you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. That's your ticket. So if you ever won league MVP in whatever sport you play, you deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. And Cam won MVP in 2015. Now, he has some things that will never be broken that people don't realize belong to Cam Newton. He was the most valuable player, offensive player of the year, offensive rookie of the year. He's been in the Pro Bowl 3 times. I mean, most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback, most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback in a season, most rushing attempts. He passed for over 30,000 yards. I mean,
you just look at the stats for Cam Newton and we're considering him for Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
Look at that.
Like, this is dumb.
He has so many records that will never be broken.
How many interceptions did he have every year?
That I don't know. He never had more interceptions than touchdowns.
I think he was just too bad for too long to be a first ballot.
When was he bad? Like, I mean, like in his peak. Like, when was he bad?
Dude,
like,
I think his
he was
MVP
not
year
good at Carolina, except for like after what, like 2016.
No. They won the NFC South 3 straight years. Like
his MVP year, he exploded.
That was 2015. They won the year before, 2014. That was the 7-8-1 team. That was the year when Cam flipped his truck on Interstate 77 and got out of it without a scratch. He had to miss a game. They won. They blanked out December and won all the games and went to the playoffs with a under 500 record. He was the rookie of the year, his rookie season. Like, he made the Pro Bowl.
Does rookie of the year mean?
Are we really counting Pro Bowls though?
Yeah. I mean, why not? Like, I mean, you have to do something to get
voted by the fans.
Well, we count all-stars in NBA, you know?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Made the playoffs 2013, his third year. I mean, I'm trying to get into the thing with the records because Cam Newton has records you're aware of, like actual things that he's done that won't be broken. And here's the stats. You were asking about interceptions. The most interceptions he ever threw in the season was 17, and that was his rookie year.
How many years that is of double-digit interceptions?
That's not something to keep him out of the Hall of Fame. I mean,
to be a first
under 60%.
Quarterback rating is still flirting around 90 of those years too. Like,
he was under 60% completion percentage most of those years.
Here we go.
After 2019 was 2018 was his last good year. 2019 he was not good. 2020 he was not good.
Here we go. Most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback in NFL history. Most games in NFL history with a passing touchdown and a rushing touchdown. Most Player of the Week awards in a single season, tied with the GOAT, Tom Brady.
That's impressive.
First player in NFL history and most games with at least 250 passing, 100 rushing, 1 pass touchdown, and 1 rushing touchdown in a single game. He's the first player in NFL history to have it, and he's got more games like that than anybody else. He's had 8 games in a season with 1 passing touchdown and 1 rushing touchdown. He's the only player in NFL history with at least 30 passing touchdowns and 10 rushing touchdowns in a season. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. First quarterback in NFL history to win both Offensive Rookie of the Year and NFL MVP. Like, the dude has got a resume. Like, anytime somebody tries to poo-poo on Cam, I'm like, nah, go check his resume and the stuff he owns in terms of, like, what he did. Plus, he changed the game. Look at the quarterbacks that are the top players in the game today. They
Did
all
Cam
modeled the
Newton
game around Cam Newton.
Did Cam
Mahomes,
Newton change the
Jalen Hurts.
game, or did Michael Vick change the game?
Cam Newton did, because Cam Newton's a bigger version of Michael Vick. Like he instead of running past somebody, Cam Newton was running through people. Like it's a different. He was a football player, and he was probably more accurate than Vick too, to be honest, with a stronger arm. So I mean, Cam Newton
Below 60% is not accurate.
Mike Vick was below 60% passer too. Like, he was worse than Cam was. He never really put the time on the practice field at all until he got to the Eagles. But Cam is going to go in the Hall of Fame. I just don't know if it's going to be first ballot, or it won't be first ballot because of his relationship with the media, but he's getting in. Like,
he'll get in.
He's going to get in.
But I just can't think that there are no wide receivers right now that are not going to be first ballot just because of the quarterback talent we have in the league right now. I mean, you've got Joe Burrow, you've got Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Allen. So I just got to think that one of those guys are going to elevate somebody to a first ballot. I mean, Patrick Mahomes has already got Travis Kelce there.
So are we saying Cam's a Hall of Famer, Carson?
He is a Hall of Famer. Yes.
Yes.
No question.
You're the only one that was like, Cam Newton's not getting in the Hall of Fame.
I do not want to take this from a Cowboys fan, okay?
Whoa.
Hey,
out of pocket right there.
No. You saying Cam's not a Hall of Famer? That's out of pocket.
That's super out of pocket. That's
it is
on the floor. It's
not out of pocket
anymore. Like, wow.
Cam just hasn't. He's got his rookie year, and then the MVP year, and then everything else is like, meh.
The 3 years in between all that, where they won the division title, they were the only team in the NFC South to win back-to-back division titles. Took them to the Super Bowl.
Especially if you look at all the other things quarterbacks are doing right now. You look at Cam's resume; it's not that impressive.
You can't compare them like that. Like, that's not.
I'm just saying.
Not fair. It's like, you can't compare Pat Mahomes to really anybody. But there are sprinklings of Cam Newton in Pat Mahomes' game. There's sprinklings of Cam Newton in Jalen Hurts. There's sprinklings of Cam Newton
definitely in Jalen Hurts.
You know, Lamar Jackson. Like, look around the league. He changed the way the position is. Like, it was him. Vic started it. Randall Cunningham. Some of those guys too. But Cam took it to another level. Mike Vick never won league MVP. Mike Vick never went to a Super Bowl. Look at who he was throwing to that year in 2015. His top receiver was Ted Ginn Jr. Like, what are we talking about? Like,
Greg Olsen then, didn't he?
Yeah, Greg Olsen.
Yeah.
Philly Brown and Ted Ginn Jr. and Jericho
Cotchery that year too.
And he caught that ball, by the way, in the Super Bowl. Jericho Cotchery caught that ball.
Yeah.
That's a whole other conversation. So he just
he had Jay Stu in his backfield.
Yeah, Fozzie Whitaker. That was a squad. 2015 was a squad.
Was D'Angelo Williams wasn't on the team right
No,
now?
he was gone by 2015.
Was it Pittsburgh then?
Yeah. It was Mike Tolbert, Jonathan Stewart, and Fozzie in the backfield. And Cam. I think Cam led the team in rushing that year. So they had the number one offense in the league with those wide receivers I just said.
That's 31 points a game, I think, if I remember correctly.
It was killing it. Like, what are we doing?
It was one good year. It was just one good year.
Oh, got me dropping stuff in the studio, breaking equipment. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Des might have to recover real quick. He might challenge me to a wrestling match. We want
Carl Cunningham was a terrible QB. We are completely out of pocket today with some of these takes. What is happening? Like, what? Goodness gracious.
I don't know if I'd agree to the Randall Cunningham take, but that's funny. Want to say thank you so much to Carson and Aaron for hopping in out of pocket today with Michael Davis talking some football. Dude, guys, we could go on forever about, Cam not beating a Hall of Fame quarterback, but
We're coming back. We're coming back.
We'll circle back to this. I'll actually get some guys who will like agree with me so I can bring them in.
Good luck finding them.
I'll find them.
Those guys.
They exist. They exist. But we would be remiss without saying that SummerSlam is tomorrow night in WWE. Me and Dez are big wrestling guys. That's why I got a wrestling shirt on. I was hoping for a little wrestling intro if we got that from our producer, maybe real quick.
Yeah, we'll throw a little I guess use it while I can, because I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be able to use it for.
What do you mean?
Bloodline's no more. Like, they're not doing Bloodline anymore. Like, I'm not saying Roman's gonna lose, but they're not doing Bloodline. So unless they're gonna bring some new members in, which I'm actually in favor for, but
hey, it could happen. And apparently with WWE and Roman Reigns right now, apparently they're going to have a lot of the guys from the Bloodline there in the arena. That's what Roman Reigns broke on ESPN First Take. So I don't know.
Like Rikishi,
I don't know who was there.
Haku. I did see right before we came on that none other than Mr. Randy Orton has been spotted in Detroit. So he is apparently out there as well. So that could be interesting.
Randy Orton, Robert Roode has been spotted in Detroit as well.
I haven't heard that name in a while.
For real, he's been out with like a neck surgery or something. So I
didn't think he was gonna be able to come back. He may just be there visiting since it's SummerSlam, but the Grayson Waller's been calling out The Rock for like the past 3 weeks. Like, I have to assume that's for some reason, right?
Grayson's been calling out everybody though.
Yeah, but then they show up. Remember, he was calling out John Cena for like 3 weeks, and then John Cena just showed up at the last pay-per-view or whatever, right? So maybe are we getting a Rock appearance at SummerSlam with Grayson Waller?
Yeah, it would be. Well, they could do. I always get my hopes up for The Rock, though. It could be one of these things where Grayson Waller, is doing the Grayson Waller effect, and then The Rock shows up, and have that towards the beginning, and then The Rock stay for whatever happens with Jay and Roman.
I can see that, because I do think if they're going to set up anything with Rock and Roman, they probably got to start it now, and they can stretch it. Like, Rock doesn't have to be there every week or anything like that. It just, that SummerSlam moment has to happen, then Survivor Series, then Royal Rumble, and then you're on the road to WrestleMania. So, yeah, it'd be pretty cool actually. And the thing that kind of makes me think it will happen is the writer's strike in Hollywood. Like, Rock can't do anything right now because all the writers are on strike. So, if there was ever a time to grab him when he's free,
now's the time.
Shooting a movie right now, yeah. So I could see him popping in. I just don't know exactly what they're going to do with him.
Well, if he's there, you got to capitalize on Rock versus Roman for sure.
Oh, absolutely. To me, that's always been the end game of this. This is Rock and Reigns has always been at WrestleMania, has always been the end game for this entire storyline. And I know you see me arguing with people on Facebook all the time about this because people are adamant that it's Cody Rhodes or whatever. Did you watch the Cody Rhodes documentary?
I have not yet, but
really good.
It looks good.
It's really good. When I watched it, I won't spoil. I mean, well, you know the story, but the thing
the story's not finished.
Yeah, but the story, but that's the thing people are confusing online. The story wasn't about Cody beating Roman Reigns. The story is about Cody being the WWE champion. It doesn't matter who he beats for it. It's for that belt, not for Roman. So people are like confusing this, and they're like, he has to fight Roman again to finish the story. No, he doesn't. He just has to win the WWE championship sometime in his career to finish the story. I don't even think he was ever the plan for Roman. They just shifted to Cody because he was hot and they couldn't get Rock. So they'll get another year out of this, and then he'll be close to Hogan's record too. Like, I think if he can make it to SummerSlam next year, he'll break Hogan's record. So
that's holding that title hostage. Everyone on SmackDown is like, "Oh no!"
Well, people keep poo-pooing my idea, man, about Hurt Business. Like, did you ever watch Game of Thrones?
I had not.
No, I never did either. My wife got me on it. And to me, Bobby Lashley is like that army way far east that's like building an army, and you don't know it's there until it's too late. And the way they're building it, for me, it feels like they're diminishing the bloodline, so it gets to the point where it's just Roman and Paul Heyman. And that's when Bobby and his crew are going to strike because he won't have any backup with him. And by default, you're going to be seeing Roman getting jumped a whole lot by Hurt Business or whatever. And that's going to flip him into a face. Because right now, the Usos are faces right now anyway. And you can easily flip Solo into one. But I think the goal is to reunite Bloodline as a face group to take on Bobby Lashley's heel group, whatever it's going to be called, down the road. Because they've been so meticulous about Lashley and Reigns not crossing paths. Like you don't see him in the ring during Royal Rumble or usually they're not even on the same show. And look at the vignettes that they do with Bobby. Usually he's not even in the same arena. You know, like the past couple of weeks, they've been off someplace at a hotel trying on suits, or they're in the garage, or he's at NXT or whatever. He's never in the same place where Roman Reigns is, and that's by design. They're doing that by design because that's the match. That's the money match down the road. If they can't get Rock, it's going to be Reigns. And it's going to be a heel Bobby Lashley.
Man, that could happen. In the meantime, there's another world title that they had to create because Roman's got like 3 belts right now. And one of the big matches is Seth Rollins defending the world heavyweight title against Finn Balor. And Damian Priest is lurking with his Money in the Bank briefcase in the background. Judgment Day, Rhea Ripley's women's champion. We have Dominic Mysterio, who won the NXT North American title. So Judgment Day's got it all. But I don't know, Des. I don't know if it feels like it's time to get the world heavyweight title off Seth and into the Judgment Day, however that fits.
Yeah, I think Balor's going to leave SummerSlam with the belt. I don't know if Damian Priest will try to cash in on it, but I could easily see. Actually, you know what? I could see Damian Priest cashing in for the U.S. title, that Austin Theory Santos Escobar match, just because it just seems out of place on the card. Like, why is that there? Even though Theory's the U.S. champ, he hadn't defended since WrestleMania, and why get Santos Escobar? Like, that feels like a situation where he can run down, steal the U.S. title, and then later on the night, you know, Finn beats Seth, and now you've got the world title, U.S. title, women's title, and North American title all in the same stable. Like, that could work.
I'd hate the idea, though, of cashing in on mid-card title again.
Yeah. But that
doesn't do it for me.
I don't think they're ready to break up Judgment Day because it seems like they're ready to push them. So you can't really break them up. And if you have Damian cash in on Finn, that's going to break them up. And I don't know who they would put in to replace. So I think keep that tension long enough and you keep Priest happy. He's grown since the last time he was the U.S. champ. So I wouldn't mind him doing it. The only problem, they're on different shows. So he ain't gonna cash in on Gunther. that ain't
not anytime soon, at least.
Oh.
Gunther has to, break Honky Tonk Man's record. He's not far away. I think it gets broken next month.
Yeah, he's real close. So yeah,
he could do good. But it's weird, the matches they did have on the show versus what they didn't. One of the matches I'm shocked about being left off the show was Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus. Should they have put this on the show?
Probably, because they haven't really built up any of the other women's stuff. Rhea Ripley hasn't really defended since WrestleMania. I think she did against Natalia, but like on a Raw or something, but she hasn't had any pay-per-view defenses. And the other one, Charlotte and
Asuka and Bianca Belair.
Yeah, that one just seems like, let's just throw these 3 people together and go. They didn't really build it. So they really built the Becky and Trish thing. So I was kind of surprised they didn't even put it on the pre-show, but I heard it was time constraints or something. So
they have Peacock. They have Peacock. They can go as long as they want.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, they told you only get 3.5 hours. I thought you got to do whatever, but guess we'll see it on Raw this Monday, I think.
Yeah, it just feels so out of place. So we'll have to see what happens there with Becky and Trish on Raw. We have to see what happens with SummerSlam in general. But we gotta get out. We gotta continue our weekend for Tobacco Road Sports Radio, the TGI Friday lineup. Guys, thank you so much for interacting, engaging with us on our YouTube channel. Go subscribe. Don't miss any more content from us. You can catch Drop the Mic. You can catch the Cat Cave. You can catch Desmond Shows, Embrace Debate, The Rundown, all of the stuff. Believe in Panthers. Our faces are on the show. So we're excited to do this content for you guys. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. So everyone have a safe weekend, and we will see you back next week, Friday at 4, live for Out of Pocket with Michael Davis.